Disclaimer! Having reviewed the footage from this episode when I got home, I realised that my microphone had broke, and all the audio sounded like this. Now, I discovered this problem immediately after returning, so I scribbled down a script of roughly what was said while it was still fresh in my mind. The audio in this episode will be dubbed, which is especially sad for reasons you'll see later on.
Hi, I'm Stuart Morris. I'm cycling to every large town near me in order of ascending distance and rating them, with the end goal of reaching Flamborough. This is your review.
I believe these are peahens. Helmsley is a historic market town north of York, with the boundary of the North Yorkshire Moors National Park passing through it. The journey takes us through the Howardian Hills area of outstanding natural beauty, which is a place where proper cyclists go to show off how unfit I am. This is interesting. The pub's only reopened a few days ago, at least when I'm recording this. Got some fun signs up. So sadly, some heritage sites like this castle are closed during the pandemic. But lucky for us, it's a castle. It kind of stands out. My eagle-eyed viewers may notice that I'm not wearing my homemade mask today. I've actually lost it somehow. How do you lose a mask? I have no idea. I love stuff like this. Usually these kinds of claims are incredibly misleading, and this one mildly is. The award does exist, and they actually won it. It's the Independent Food Retailer of the Year award, which is part of the 2015 Yorkshire Life Food and Drinks Awards. So best shop in Yorkshire, definitely. But best shop in the UK? I'm currently walking on the Cleveland Way, the most famous hike in the moors, overlapping in several parts with the Coast to Coast walk. It starts at Helmsley and loops round all the way to Filey in over 110 miles. You can tell you're on it because it's well signposted with this little upside down acorns. Word of advice, if you're wearing a face mask, don't eat the onions in your salad. Trust me on that. So I've just met the loveliest man of the series so far. I was sitting on some corner fiddling with the GPS on my phone, and someone shouts over to me from a bench asking if I knew where I was. I tell him I'm looking for Rievaulx Abbey, and he gives me some directions telling me it's about 4 to 5 miles away. I say that that's fine, that's pretty much nothing, and that I'd come from York and also came to see a bit of Helmsley too. And then he starts telling me about all the history of the castle and points out a better viewing spot I can go to. And then he offers to cycle along with me to show it. He must have been talking for about 15 minutes. So this is a recreation of conversation snippets, and these are some lines which we definitely shared. This is a much better angle for recording. Yeah, I agree. My other shots were terrible. You can actually see what's left here. These walls would have been torn down by cannon fire and gunpowder by parliamentarians during the Civil War. There were actually a lot of earthworks going on at the time, so some of them managed to dump gunpowder under the castle's walls and destroyed it. What, like a successful gunpowder plot? Well, yes, but it wasn't complete. They actually had to siege the royalists out, and this siege lasted a very long time, and the royalists were so impressed by the skill of the parliamentarians that they actually applauded them when they were forced to open the gates. That's nice. Very chivalrous. I was surprised by it. They were sieged for so long, the first thing I'd do is ask for a fish and chips or something. I know quite a lot about all this. Have you been living in Helmsley long? Yeah, in a way. I've been here for about 20 years. I've already shown my granddaughter around all this because she's into history too. He was telling me he does a lot of cycling as well, racing and touring. And this year he did 1,600 miles. Now I did some mental maths and I must have done about only 400. But here's the thing. He's 79, turning 80 this year. He's making a mockery of my fitness level. I tell you, this man is a legend. So we followed Helmsley Man's directions and they brought us here, to the beautiful Rievaulx Abbey. It's hard for me to capture the scale of this building. It's massive. A simple version of the abbey was built in the 1140s, with these grand arches coming in about 100 years later. This place is huge! Helmsley is a beautiful historic market town. It's like someone has taken York and squeezed it down into a little village. But there's still so much to do there. There's loads of restaurants, there's the castle, and there's even this abbey just outside. I mean, look at it! The thing's amazing! It is prettier than Selby and Wetherby, but it just lacks the scale of York. So I'm going to plonk it in the recently cleared bracket and give it a Yorkshire out of Yorkshire. And so here we are. The end of episode 12 marks the quarter waypoint through this series. Maybe 25% is too soon to start getting nostalgic, but look at how far we've come in such a short time. At the start of this series, I hadn't rode a bike in 6 years, and I was terrified by a set of traffic lights. Now I breezed through intersections I'd never have dreamt were possible. We've seen some stunning sights, and what has amazed me most of all is that nowhere has been empty. Even the smallest towns have something to see, places to visit, things to explore. This quarter waypoint marks the end of an era. The first chapter of this saga is complete. We're in exciting times now. The cycles are getting longer, directions more complex, and we still have so much left to see before we reach our final destination. Thanks for sticking with it, everyone. Here's to the next quarter.
End this series.
You? You're the one who's been leaving all this junk around my house.
I will see to it personally that York Review fails.
Who are you?
I'm the Yorkshireman.
What the that?